Hi everyone, CohhCarnage here with another thoughts video, this time for AI the Somnium Files, actually called the Somnium Files. Um, I have played a lot of visual novels over the last 6 months. Visual novels are not something I've been into pretty much for the entire duration of my life before the last 6 months. I have played Doki Doki Danganronpa 999. It's been an interesting ride learning how to do these, learning what these games are and how to play them. Um, I've come to learn to enjoy them for what they are. I was kind of always put off by them because I felt like they weren't really games. They were just kind of stories that were told to you with every so often like a little choice here and there. So they never really grabbed me. But I have to admit, over the last 6 months of me kind of playing them, I've come to understand how they're a lot better than I thought they were, and that I also, more importantly, really enjoy them. That brings us to the Somnium Files. Um, let's go ahead and start with this. This is my favorite visual novel that I have played thus far, out of every that I have played, and honestly, by a pretty big factor. This game is incredible in lots of different ways. The music is great. The voice acting is great. The pacing is great. The narrative design, which if you play it or have watched it, you understand what I mean, is really great. The branching paths are meaningful and interesting. And honestly, I can't really say almost anything else because I strongly suggest you experience this game for yourself. This game is a $60 title. I spent 32 hours in it, and I would recommend it at its price. It is a game where you will want to click on everything you can. You want to exhaust all of the dialogue, and the entire experience when doing that will not only be at sometimes hilarious, but other times very dramatic. There are times that will yank on your heartstrings. There are times that will extremely surprise you. There are times when you will want to click through the dialogue fast just because you need to see what happens next. And there are more meaningful reveals in this game than I think any other game I've ever played. Um, it's a very, very impressive, well written, well thought out game. And I'm actually going to call this one a game. Now, granted, it is a visual novel, and I'd say 80% of the game is told to you. There are some pretty heavy gameplay elements in what they call the Somniums, and I'm not going to go too much into it then because it's part of the story. But there is a lot of game in this visual novel. There's a lot of decision making. There's a lot of important decision making, especially in the order that you do it. And honestly, it's honestly one of the most kind of game visual novels that I've ever played. So on that note, I do want to end this thoughts video pretty early because again, I really want you to experience this game for yourself. There is one bit of advice that I'm going to give to you. It is the slightest bit of a spoiler, but I can say that when I was playing this game, chat suggested this to me, and to really experience this in a way that I think is probably the best. This is all I'm going to say. So take this little sentence with you as you go into your playthrough. At an early-ish point in the game, you will be given the choice between a left or a right birdcage. I strongly suggest to you to go down the left birdcage, click the left birdcage, and then fully explore that side. You'll know what I mean when you play. But I think that honestly, looking back, that made everything in the game really just come together in a pretty amazing way. And I can also say that even though you can play the game however you want, and I want to stress that, it still would have been a great experience doing it the other way. It really is a pretty beautiful domino effect to do it that way. So that's the only thing I'm going to tell you. And again, I really strongly suggest that you play this game. I also want to point something out here. I don't generally say this too often in these thoughts videos, but this is a game that really exemplifies what I'm about to say. What I'm about to say, this game is really a good example, and I want to stress this. A lot of you guys watch YouTube and Twitch. A lot of you guys watch these playthroughs with your favorite streamer, whoever it may be, and experience these games vicariously without playing them yourself. Under most circumstances, this would mean that you never need to play the game yourself because you've already, in this case, seen everything the game has to offer. I'm a very thorough streamer when I play these types of games. So I've pretty much done everything there is to do in the game, and many of you were with it the entire time or watched the whole thing on YouTube. What I'll say to you is, in a case like that, when you've gotten to the end of something that you feel is really amazing, or more importantly, you want to see more things like that in the world, even though you may never play it, consider supporting the developers by purchasing the game. I know this sounds weird, and of course I'm not saying this to people where it's like the difference between a game you might actually play and one you watched on YouTube. But if you're if you're an office worker, if you just got a big birthday present of money, if you have some cash lying around and you really enjoyed watching this playthrough, it may be a good idea to go ahead and pick it up. Just because, again, and this doesn't just go for this game. This goes for any game that you watch another person do, and it makes it so you're never really going to do it yourself. It's just awesome to support those developers by doing that. So something to consider when you're doing that. Of course, you don't have to. And of course, this isn't sponsored. But it's something to consider when you do that kind of stuff. So anyway, this has been a thoughts video for the Somnium Files. I hope you guys enjoy it yourself. I really hope you do end up picking it up. And yeah, thank you for watching. See you next time.